morning students, I am Snehal from KD Societies, VCA College, Nipani. So from this we are going to start with our Unit 2, okay? That Unit 2 is nothing but the testing techniques. So in this unit we are going to discuss on the different types of testings, okay? And what are the scenarios that has been get involved for the different types of testings. So in this unit we are going to focus on the different testing types. So first we are going to discuss with the testing techniques and the most important part of the testing, that is nothing but the black box testing. Okay, so the unit is what? The Unit 2. So earlierly we have completed the Unit 1, which is having the different types of software lifecycle development models are also involved within that, and some of the part of the white box testing we covered within that. So now we are going to start with directly with the black box testing. So in this black box testing, what they have stated here, the black box testing is the software testing method which is used to test the software. Okay, so it is also one of the techniques to test the software. Now whenever we want to test any software, we know that there are the different types of life cycle methods are involved. So as we learn on the different types of life cycle methods, what are that? Requirement analysis is there, planning is there, designing is there, development is there, testing is there, coding is there. Then after that we are going to deploy, and after deployment we are going to start with the maintenance phase of the software process or the software development. So the black box testing is also one of the method, or it is also one of the software testing method. Now this method is used to test the software. Now when we want to test this software, what is the main criteria behind within the black box testing is nothing but that here we are going to test the software without knowing the internal structure of the code or program. What we have stated here, the software is going to be tested without knowing the internal structure of the code or the program. Now for example, consider that we are having a simple code of the addition of two numbers. Okay, so what is the expected result for us? For example, consider that we want to do the addition of 10 and 12. Okay, 10 and 12 means what? 10 plus 12, and the result should be get considered as a 22. So how that program is going to be written, whether it should be a simple program or whether that program is included a function part, it doesn't matter over here in the black box testing. See, I am again going to repeat you for this. Why? Because we learn on the white box testing. Now white box testing is the clear box testing. It is the transparent testing where the internal structure, where the internal part, where the internal code of the software is known to everyone. So we can say that in the black box testing, it is the software testing method which is used to test the software without knowing the internal structure of the code or the program, which means that here we are not going to understand on the what part of the code is written for that particular part or that particular program. Only what we are going to focus, what is the input given and what is the expected output. The whatever may be the internal coding, the internal structure is present, it doesn't matter over here. So that is nothing but your black box testing. So most likely this testing method is what? See, most likely this testing method is what here most of the tester actually perform and used the majority of the practical life. See, what we are going to say that here the tester actually perform. Why? Because they don't know what is the internal structure, what is the internal part of the code, but they are still going to do the testing of what? Of the software. Okay, so and used the majority in the practical life. Means what? Majority it should be used in our practical life for the testing purpose, for testing the software. So a black box testing, which is also known as the behavioral testing. It is also known as the behavioral. Why? Because here an tester, okay, he is not knowing the internal structure of the program, internal part of the program. We can say that. So this type of testing also known as the epic testing or epic box testing, closed box testing, okay, specification based testing, or eye to eye testing. Okay, so this type of testing is known as a what? A behavioral, opaque, a closed box testing, a specification based, or eye to eye testing. So is a software testing method that can be used for the analysis purpose. What is the input given to the system and what is the expected output from that system. So that is the black box testing. Here the idea is simple for you. So when we are learn about the white box testing, what we have learned? A white box testing is the clear box testing. A white box testing is the transparent testing. Transparent means what? A transparency should be there. Those who are involved in the testing team. But when the black box testing is there, whatever may be the internal code or the internal program that has been written to develop for that particular software, it is totally unknown to everyone. It is totally unknown to everyone. Only the tester is going to focus on what is the input given to the system and what is the expected output from that system. So that is the black box testing. The functionality of the software and the application without knowing much about the internal structure or the design of the atom that is being tested and compares the input value with the output value. See, I am going to repeat it again. What here? They are going to focus on the input value and the output value. Why? Because the functionality of the software or application without knowing much about the internal structure or the design of that, it is nothing but here the tester or here the person who are involved in the testing phases, they are going to focus on the input value given to that particular program and what is the expected output from that particular program. See, as we know that when we are going to perform the different types of application, mainly we are focusing on what is the input required for that. What we are going to focus? What is the input required for that? And when we all know that what is the input required for that particular program, then what we are going to consider that what is the expected output. Expected output means what? If we want to perform the addition, the result should be considered as an addition. When we are performing a subtraction, what is the expected? We want to know the subtraction of some numbers, whatever may be given over there. Or suppose for when we want to find out the Armstrong number. Armstrong number means what? Okay, that numbers perform whatever may be the result. Okay, a cube summation is equal to that number. Then we are going to say that this number is the Armstrong number. Actually, you know that 153. Okay, when we are going to perform the cube summation of these numbers, we are going to get the same number. Why? Because the cube of 1 is 1, cube of 5 is 125 and cube of 3 is 27. When we are going to add the 1 plus 125 plus 27, then we are going to get the addition as 153. So that is nothing but the expected result. That is nothing but the Armstrong numbers. Okay, or take another one example as for when we want to perform or when we want to check whether the number is positive or negative. Now, in which condition we are going to check? If my number is greater than 0, then it is a positive. If my number is less than 0, it is a negative. But it is the internal logic. It is the internal logic. Okay, here what the tester is going to perform? Simply the tester is going to give the input to the particular software. Now, for example, if the tester has given the input as 1, so 1 is greater than 0, so we can say that it is a positive number. But instead of this, if the tester is given a -1, now -1 is less than 0. So what is the expected output from this? It is nothing but the negative number. So only here the functionality of the black box testing is nothing but here the tester, here the person who is going to focus on what is the input value given to the system and what is the expected output from this. So that is the black box testing. Again, we are going to focus on the different definitions of a black box testing. So black box testing is defined as the testing technique in which the functionality of the application is under test, AUT. What we are going to consider that? Here the functionality of the software is under the AUT, application under test. Okay, is tested without looking at the internal code structure. Okay, what? It is going to be tested without looking at the internal code structure. Which means that here the tester is not going to focus on the internal structure. Means what? They are not going to focus on the what logic a programmer, what logic a developer is going to be used within that particular program. They are not going to be worried on that. Only what? The implementation details and the knowledge of the internal parts of the software is enough to them to test that particular software or that particular program. So that is the black box testing. I am again repeating you the definition. See, black box testing is defined as the testing technique in which the functionality of the application under test is tested without looking at the internal code, structure and the implementation details and the knowledge of the internal parts of the software, which are not necessarily required in the black box testing. So this type of a testing is based entirely on the software requirement and the specification specs. Why? Because actually we don't know what we are going to perform. But what we know the input and we know the output. According to that, there. So simply we have drawn a simple diagram over here. This is a black box, which means that it is not transparent. It is not known to everyone. Okay. So what they are going to, or in which part they are going to focus on only the input given and the output coming from that. So that is nothing but actually the black box testing. So what is the black box testing? A black box testing is the testing technique in which the functionality of the application under test is tested without looking at the internal code structure, then implementation details and the knowledge of the internal parts of the software, which should not be known to everyone. So that is nothing but the black box testing. So it is simply opposite of the white box testing. So it may happen that in the exams you will get the questions for the differentiation in between the white box and the black box testing. Why? Because the white box testing is also having some different types of testing involved within that. Same like that, the black box testing is also having the different types of testing which are involved in this. Okay, in the further lectures we are going to complete it, but till that this is enough to you that a white box testing and the black box testing both are opposite of each other. Okay, so in the next lecture we are going to focus on the different parts of the black box testing.